All right, welcome, Christina. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Cristina Spataro. I'm a psychotherapist and relationship coach, and I'm happy to be here with my friend. And we're going to talk about something very interesting. What are we talking about today?
Well, today, by the way, I'm D.Lisa West. I'm a dream doula.
Oh, I
You know,
love it. I
I'm
love when
just
you use
telling
that
people
phrase.
that's what I do from now on.
I
I'm a
love it.
dream doula. Love to talk about dreams that you have when you're just daydreaming or dreams that you have when you're sleeping, because those are where messages from our soul self come into our awareness. So today I would love to talk about what I think about almost every year this time, because partially because it's Thanksgiving in the USA and what are you thankful for? And then we move into the end of the year, which is also my birthday time. So I've often gone on a retreat or taken
Hmm.
myself on just a long weekend somewhere where I can just sit and think and journal and walk and decide, kind of like, how did my year go?
Mhm.
And what would I love to have next year? And then I think, all those years I did New Year's resolutions. How did that work out?
Mhm.
So let's talk. When you're working with clients and they're telling you they're going to make some New Year's resolutions, what do you think as a therapist and a coach?
So here's my feeling on New Year's resolutions. There's like this pressure, new year, right? I'm going to be a whole new me. But the truth is, the thought is great, but only change that you actually are building towards is going to happen. So, like people say, oh, I'm going to, go to the gym every day and I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. So, the key is like, I always go back to any goals you have. And really, if you want a resolution to become an actual thing that you do and not just a lovely thought, it needs to have some teeth behind it and be an actual goal. And all goals, I'm sure you've used this and heard of this, the idea of SMART goals, right? So I always go back to be specific, be measurable. Is it appropriate? Is it realistic? Is it, what time frame are we talking here? So as long as your goals, your resolutions are in that framework, you actually have a shot of it happening.
Oh, that's so great. And I take my people in my coaching program, I take them so far that I don't ask them if it's realistic. I take them in this imaginary trip at the
Mhm,
beginning of our work together where we imagine it's 3 years in the future. And if what
mhm,
they would love to have happen
mhm.
magically happened, like a magic wand and everything worked out, what's it like? And then if that really makes their heart sing, how can they go there? Because I believe that if your imagination can dream
Mhm.
up something, even
You
if
can
your
make it
human
happen.
self doesn't believe
Yes.
it, you can go
Yes.
there. Um,
100%. I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, why not dream big and
Yeah.
then see, which dreams are you really gonna do? Because, you can't go lose weight, get in shape, become a bodybuilder if you don't like go to the gym and
Yes.
pull, lift heavy stuff. And you
Right,
can't
right,
travel more if you don't buy the ticket, right?
right. Exactly. Exactly.
And you can't have a business if you don't, start doing the business and getting the
Right.
cards and signing up for
Mhm,
business license and all those things.
mhm.
So one tiny little thing at a time will take you
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Yes. No, that's exactly how I feel too. And I do a similar exercise when I have clients come to me and they're feeling a little lost in their life and they're not sure. They know they're not happy in what they're doing and relationship they're in, but they don't know what they actually want. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, I think deep down you do know where you want, but because either you felt that you had to do this or you felt pushing it, you wound up in a life that's not working for you, but deep down you know what you really want or you wouldn't be this unhappy.
Right. Because by knowing what you don't want, you
Yes.
therefore know what you do want. You don't want that.
Exactly.
So what you do
Exactly.
want is
What do
something
you do
other
want?
than that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I also take them on a journey too of put me in the future. And I say, okay, because the first thing they'll come up with is, oh, but I can't. Give it that. This is, I'm your
Mhm.
fairy godmother. I'm saying, this, you can do this. I want you to put me there. What are you doing? Who are you with? Every single detail. And then once they give me that, I'm like, all right, now we can get to our SMART goals and how you going to get there.
Oh, that's beautiful. Also, I was thinking the other day that for me, and maybe for a lot of other people,
Mhm.
one of the things we do when we look into the past, so if I'm going to just say, what did I do all year? How was I
Mhm.
living my year? Sometimes I'm like, dang, I disappointed myself.
Mhm.
Or I'll be really harsh in kind of viewing what I've done or what I've accomplished.
Mhm.
And I wrote myself a note the other day. I was like, I'm ashamed
Oh.
of, yeah, I'm ashamed of how underperforming I was for most of my working life. I know now, looking back, I could have done better. I could have made more things happen,
Mhm.
and I didn't. And then I thought, well, that's no way to talk to yourself, honey. You should just say you did the best you could.
Mhm.
And that's not always 100% true. Maybe I didn't do the best I could. Maybe I half-assed it.
Mhm.
But I think that part of that looking into the future is also looking back with kindness and compassion for ourselves.
Mhm.
So instead of saying, oh, how shameful, why weren't you a better businesswoman or whatever? Why weren't you a better mother, sister, spouse? You can say, well, that was up until now. I did that.
Mhm. Up until now.
Up until now, this happened. And now I'm endeavoring to do this other thing. Uh,
Mm.
and one of the beautiful questions I remember when I remember to ask myself in the morning is, what do I want to accomplish today? And a bigger question, who do I want to be today?
Oh, I like that.
Because if you're being who your future self would love to be, you're
Mhm.
easily thinking of things you'd love to do that are taking you towards your goal.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah, well, who would I like to be today? The confident, creative, interested, and interesting person,
Mm.
right?
I love that.
Yeah. So, hopefully everyone I meet feels that kind of interested energy that I'm really interested in what they have to say and who they
Mhm.
are. Because we're just like walking around the world going, hey, how are you? Fine. Now, how many people say I'm fine when they're not?
Yes. Oh, it's true. Like the obligatory, I'm fine.
Hmm.
And how many times, and like to your point, how do you want to be today? When you ask someone how they're doing, are you asking for the obligatory fine, or are you asking because you genuinely want to know?
Right. And I started asking people when I was in line at a store. So I go buy my
Mhm.
groceries and I say to the people, they are usually like, what? What did you ask me? How are you doing today? How's your day
Yeah.
going? And they'll be surprised and they'll say, oh, it's pretty hard. Two people called in sick, or everything's great. I just got to
Yeah.
work, or my work is over in 1 hour. Woohoo. So I don't know how many people, maybe only one or two people all day, ask someone when they're in the service business, how are they?
Exactly. And think about what an important question that is. Because a lot of times, maybe the only time they're being talked to is to be complained to.
Sure,
Like,
that's the wrong price. I don't
yes,
like that kind of bag, or whatever the complaint
yes,
is. I couldn't find, did you
exactly.
find everything you were looking for?
Yes.
No.
No, I didn't. But to actually ask, like, how are you doing today going?
Yeah.
Because again, it's about seeing each other as human beings, each worthy of our time.
Right. And no one's over anyone else. No one's under anyone, and no one's more important than
Yes.
someone else, because I think a lot of people uh, think that they're more important than the worker bees that are helping them. But
Yes.
without those people helping us, we wouldn't
Yeah.
get our groceries and we wouldn't get our cars washed and we wouldn't, you know, have help
Mhm.
in restaurants to bring us our food. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And having that awareness. I get it. We have places we want to go. We have things we want to do. I get that. But you need to always be looking at the person in front of you and
Right,
seeing them as somebody of value.
right. So back to goal setting or
Yes.
dream setting. What do you do? Do you write down your goals and dreams, and do you keep them in a written form or just in your imagination?
So I do a variation. I do
Hmm.
write some down, and others I have in my head. It's almost like it's the next phase
Hmm.
of what I want, because Ms. Dream Doula, I definitely like there are things I will dream about, and I'm like, huh. So I will write those dreams down, especially if they really struck me. I will write them down so I have them there, and then I work on whatever goals I'm working on now. But I will always periodically look back on something that really sat with me in an interesting way, and I see where does that play out.
Right. Oh, so you're talking about dreams that you have when you're asleep right now?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I
I
was
have
thinking the other
very
day
vivid
about
dreams.
some dreams that really told me what I should be doing at the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're not listening, they get louder and louder. Like, for
Yes.
example, I had a boyfriend that I should have broken up with. We had a really
Mm.
contentious relationship. We argued quite a lot. And he was trying to help me do my real estate business at the time. We were both real estate
Mm-hmm.
brokers. And he said, let's get a billboard and put it on the side of a bus. I'm like, no, let's do this and that. And then he was like, you're so great. Let me look at that paperwork. And then one day I dreamt that we were driving somewhere and over this overpass on the big swooping curvy road, and he reached over,
Mm.
grabbed the wheel, and then the next part of the dream was we're crashing the car, we're flying through the sky, and I wake
Whoa.
up, I'm like, whoa, okay, that was a message. Did I listen? No. Kept dating him, we kept talking, and now I'm dreaming I'm killing him.
Oh my
In one
gosh.
dream, in one dream, I smash his head with rocks. In another
Whoa.
dream, I reach into his neck and rip out his jugular vein.
Oh my
And
God.
then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe we should break up. I'm
Let's
thinking in
break
waking
up.
life. It's like, knock, knock, hello, hello. So, if you're dreaming, and sorry to be so graphic, maybe I'll just have
No,
to put
no.
trigger warnings
For
on
those
this
of
on
you
this.
who are listening, if you are dreaming about homicidal things of wanting to do to the person you're with, I think you need to break up.
Really? Yeah. Um, but other dreams are more subtle, and they give
Mhm.
you an idea of doing something, and then you're like, oh, I wonder what that meant.
Yes, yes. So I've always been a vivid dreamer, always. And I've always dreamed in color. And that's funny. I never heard of the idea of dreaming in black and white as everybody does it. It was just something I've always done. So I was like, oh, okay. And like some people say, oh, I don't remember my dreams. Now I don't know if it's because when I'm waking up or how, but they've always been vivid. I've always you're like, whoa, okay. So yeah, I always keep a little journal of them because a lot of times it is telling me a message.
Hmm.
Like probably the most salient dream I had, I actually started my career as a therapist working with children in foster care. That was not my original goal. Honestly, it was where I got a job. I mean, I knew I loved kids, I loved working with kids. I had just gotten my master's and this opportunity opened up and I took it. And I loved it. It was great work. I learned so much. It was an excellent training ground. But the funny thing is, I want to say about a year or so before I had that job, I was having these series of dreams. Maybe it was like 2 nights in a row where I dreamed I was saving children. Like I was like, what in the world? Like in one dream, I'm pulling them away from a side of a cliff. In another dream, I'm breaking into this house and I'm saying, yeah, I know they're not safe. I'm taking these kids with. I'm like, what in the world? I was like Wonder Woman of like, rescuing children from precarious situations.
That is so amazing. And that was before
Yeah,
you started working with
that was
kids?
before. Yes. Foster care was not even on my radar in terms of where I was going to be working. But, I was a newly minted grad, and then, the job market was a little iffy, and this opened up. And so I took it, and I knew the person because I had done an internship there. I want to say probably like the year or so before I graduated. Like, it wasn't my last internship, it was the internship before. And I loved working there. They were very nice. We had a good rapport, but it wasn't on my radar as my final destination.
Mhm.
But it worked out great that when I was looking, they were hiring. And the fact that this wasn't on my radar, and before, I think I maybe even had the gym even before I was an intern there. I mean, I literally had no experience there at all. And I'm having this dream where I'm rescuing children.
That's so cool.
I know, just what I'm saying, pay attention to your dreams.
Yeah, and at the end of the year, when you're pondering, what would you love for next year? I think also listening to the dreams that you're having while you're pondering that is a
Yeah,
very deep way to connect with what you would truly love, not with your human mind, not
right,
filtering it so much. Like, what would your
exactly.
soul love to do?
I love that. What would your soul love to do? What do you feel God, the universe is telling you? Because when we're in our waking state, and again, everyone has their own belief system and whatever you see or don't see, but when we're in our waking state, we often block a lot.
Mhm.
We put
Yeah,
the reasons why not. We put the reasons why we can't.
yeah.
Like, I can't because of this. I can't because of it. I have had so many clients say to me, I want to do this, but I can't, but I can't, but I can't, but I can't. And then once we start working together and we actually formulate a plan, we actually have a plan of, yeah, you actually can do this.
Yeah,
So,
people like to say, I can't do this because, and their becauses are, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, my
mhm,
spouse won't let me,
right.
my parents won't let me, I don't have the
Mhm,
education, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too fat, I'm too
yes.
skinny. Those are
Yes.
just fear, they're fear reasons. Because
Yes.
stepping into a new you is you have to go through some fear to become your best self. You can't just
Yes.
like, if you just stay doing what you're doing, my mentor says some people live the same year 99 times,
Yes.
and some people live a different year every year because they're dreaming up their life. So if you're just
Yes.
letting life happen to you and reacting, you might just have the same life next year as the same
Mhm,
life last year is the same, whatever is
right.
happening, you're just like la la la.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a beautiful life, if you want to really go on that vacation or make that
Mhm.
painting or learn that language or play that instrument, you gotta believe it's okay and
Yes.
then take some steps to go there.
Take some steps to go there because you can't walk anywhere if you don't take a first step.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing is once people start to move into their goals and dreams, if they're really going there and they're excited about it, they'll notice that they get help from unexpected sources. They'll
Yes.
meet the most amazing people that help
Mhm.
them go where they're
Mhm.
going and help them
Yes.
do what they're doing, and things will happen out of the blue, but it's
Yes.
really the universe lining up with what your goals and dreams.
Exactly. I mean, again, I'm respectful of everyone else's belief systems and stuff, but you will be amazed when you're on a path you're supposed to be on, how things actually do line up. Because to your point, how many times do you push and push at something? And I'm not saying to give up the first time it's hard, but sometimes we're pushing at a door that's remaining locked and we're like, why can't I open this? Maybe you're not supposed to go through that door. Maybe there's a different door for you. Maybe there's a different way, but you're so focused on it
Yeah.
must be this way. I must do this thing. I must be with this person. I must, I must, I must, I must. This is the only way. It's like somebody had said, and I loved this. We are so attached to outcome, a lot of times we don't appreciate the journey.
Yes, absolutely. The journey, well, all the wise people have said,
Yes.
it's not where you get to. It's the journey, and it's who you become while you're going.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so people will say, oh, I thought I wanted this house and this car or this a career or this marriage. And then I was like, I really just wanted to be who I am now, that I had to take all those steps to get this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How powerful is that?
That's so cool. Well, one of the things I like to have people do is years ago, I just wrote down goals for 2023, whatever, top of the page. I'd write them all down. Maybe I had 25 things I want. Make a list, put it in a folder, look at it next year. Or maybe I'd look at it every month. I don't know. Now I say, if you really want something, that's a big dream for you. Write it down as if it's already happened. And in this way,
Oh.
at the top of the page, you say, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then you write down blah, 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 as if it's today, sorry for the stuttering, as if it's happening now. I'm so happy and grateful now that I live in a beautiful house with a view or whatever it is. And then at the bottom of that page, you say, this or something even better still. So that takes care of that. It seems like the door is locked and you can't go through it. Because if it's not this thing that you're dreaming up, it's something even better. And you're willing to see that something better can come to you.
I
Yeah.
love that. So this or something better still.
Yes. And I learned many years ago at a class I took at my church, they said this or something even greater still. So it's like an
Ooh,
old-fashioned, so even better or even greater.
I
Both of those
like
words
that.
work.
This or something
So
even greater still. I love that. So I am so grateful to be living in this big house, to have this job that I love, this or something greater still.
yes, yes. And if you write that in a way that really, I mean, if you write that down and read it, it's kind of gives you the shivers. You get this like
Mm.
excited feeling from reading it, and then to read that every day, or to have a little pocket size. I have my clients take a little pocket size, keep it in a pocket. So halfway through the day, they're thinking of, I don't know what, and they're like, oh yeah, here's my pocket sized dream. I'm so happy and grateful that blah, 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 blah. This is something better still. Put it back in your pocket. Continue your day. So there's a part of your mind that's looking for the things that come out of the blue, that's listening for the things that are going to help you get your dreams, that's connected to the people, that just random people you might meet, that you could say, oh, do you know about this? I'm interested in that. And,
Mm.
yeah. So I'm often listening to people in a coffee shop. I'm like, what? Did you talk about Rotary Club? Tell me about your Rotary Club. Like, sorry to interrupt, but you were just
Yeah,
talking about
you were
something I'm
just
interested
talking
in.
about something because you never know where that opportunity is going to come.
Yeah, it could be the
It could
coffee
live,
shop.
it could be a
It could
coffee
be
shop. Yeah.
it could be at on a sidewalk. It could be at the post office. It could be at your
Yes.
office meeting. You never know.
Yes. It could be anywhere. And you never know where that inspiration is going to strike.
Right. Right.
I remember reading somewhere, like it was an autobiographical thing on Agatha Christie. And there was a book she wrote, The Secret Adversary. There is a movie version out. I want to say the PBS did a thing on there when they had their show Mystery. And there was a character called Jane Finn that became the catalyst for how things happened. And Agatha Christie said she got the idea of the name that led to the story. So I want to say it was a coffee shop, something like that, where she heard some people talking and she heard this name being used. And she's like, it was both at once a very ordinary name, but different enough. And she was like, huh. And before you know it, noodle of an idea. And there you go.
Yes. Yes. You never know where the inspiration is going to come from.
You never know. And this is why I do believe in keeping a little book or a little note thing in your phone, whatever is easiest for you. Like sometimes people get caught up on, because when I have talked about my clients about writing goals down or doing this stuff or journaling, they get kind of like, oh, I didn't have my book with me. Okay, do you have your phone with you? It's like, I don't necessarily, it's nice to do the book and the pen and paper thing. That's lovely. I love it. But at the same time, don't let that be the thing that gets in your way from continuing the process.
Right. If you don't have a book, you probably do have a phone. And on your
Exactly.
phone, you probably have a notes app or some
Yes.
recording app that you could talk
Yes.
into and get those brilliant ideas as you're wandering through your day.
Yes. Get those brilliant ideas, do it, because the mind is always active. Even when we're, especially when we're dreaming, the mind is always active.
Right on.
So pay
Yeah.
attention to what your active mind is telling you.
Yeah. So to recap, it's good to take a little time to think about the past year.
Mhm.
Don't beat yourself up. Just look at
Mm-mm.
it and notice what you
Right.
notice. And then
Right.
think of what you would love to have for next year and write it
Yes.
down in this way. I am so happy and grateful now that it's 2023. It's December 2023 and blah, 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 blah. This is something even greater still.
I love that. I love that. And may all of you not only conceive of your goals, but actually take them to the finish line.
Right on, Christina. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. It's always wonderful. I love our talks.